Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Rendezvous Podcast. I have no idea what number episode this is, but as you can see, I'm here with Bangovic, not Bodorks today yet. He will be arriving soon. Emergency meeting. Who knows what that could be? But how are you, Bangovic? How are you today? How have you been?
I've been doing good. I think it's Monday. Mondays are always stressful. People realize that they have to work on to-do lists and things didn't work out last week, so they gotta put it on the list for this week. But honestly, pretty good. I think the week gonna be great. Great matches ahead. Great matches for Liquid as well. Yeah, I'm hyped. Actually, I'm looking forward. And also like there's vacation days, bank holidays coming, so great.
Yeah, just heading into summer. Weather's getting nicer.
Oh
At least
yes.
where we are, sun's coming out.
We had the
Well, not
first like
not
spring day, like 20 degrees or something.
Oh,
That
that's
was
nice.
It was amazing, honestly. It changed everything.
Yeah,
Honestly, everyone is
it
happy
does.
suddenly.
They really are. When it's like clouds, everyone's just tired. But yeah, the sun is it's good.
Yes. All
All right,
right.
shall we get started then?
Let's get
No
started.
Bodork to make some cryptic statement today. All right. First things first is the new bundle. We like to start with a little bit of whimsical things, a little bit of less important news to the esports scene, but there's a new bundle coming out. It's based off kind of the retro gaming aesthetic. It's called the
Yeah.
Radianite Entertainment System Bundle. I think it's pretty cool.
It is. It's actually super cool. Like I like so for me, I said it before we recorded the podcast. The effects are like it's crazy to see what can be implemented as a skin in game. Like the fact that
Yeah.
you can like take the knife, which is like a boxing glove, which is also like a halo sword, and like just generally you have like three different type of melee weapons, and then you have like this little screen where you can play essentially like it's a Game Boy somehow, or
Yeah.
like where you can just play a little bit, and then the finishers, like
Different level, man.
there's no argument to be made. Those are the best finishers in the game. But I
Yeah.
gotta say, for me personally, the only downside is that the skins themselves are a bit boring, but the effects kind of like make up for it. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying like boring, like they're like just plain skins, but then they're also like, I don't know, the design itself is not that appealing to me in comparison to the effects. Like, I don't know. I think like a middle ground would be better for me, but man, still crazy bundle.
Yeah. Like you said, the finishes I think are the main draw for
Yeah.
me. I'm gonna be in my games like, wait, let me get the last kill. you know,
Yes.
yeah, the finishes are really cool, especially the Dance Revolution inspired one.
Yes. Yes.
Insanely cool. And also the fighting game one, as someone who's like
Oh,
grown up with those kind of things, it's like really cool to see. Um,
yeah.
they might even, I don't know, maybe they'll in the future they'll release new variants for this because it's only got 3 at the moment. So
Hmm.
they might, obviously usually got 4 if it's got variants. So
Yeah.
maybe they'll release
Also,
more.
I thought like it's some like especially the fighting one, right? Like Riot Games is working on a. I'm not even sure what's
Mm.
the genre called.
Project L, I think it's
Yeah,
called.
about the genre of this type of games, like beat 'em up.
Oh,
Is it beat 'em up? No.
like fighting games, just like
Yeah, but man,
you
people
know.
will hate on us for not knowing the genre. But like this type of genre, like generally, like it's like has a big fandom and like Street Fighter, and it gives me the Street Fighter
Yeah.
vibes. But it's definitely like this skin, like the fighting game, it's gonna be referencing towards the game they're developing right now. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see like some sort of crossover variant maybe from the fighting game they're releasing at one point with this finisher or something. Maybe it's
Yeah,
like
that
just
would
this.
be
That would be
insanely cool.
cool. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. This is just a cool idea. And also, I think it's like not funny, but like it's super cool that you guys also appreciate it because we're a different age, right? And this is like
Yeah.
boomer. This is like boomer games, right? So I think like it's actually interesting. But great job. Also, like a little detail. I'm not even sure if I can pull up a screenshot for it. But did you see that the muzzle flares, the flashes actually which come out of the gun are pixelated as well?
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're actually pixelated. I think I tried to grab a
Oh,
screenshot
that's
of
so
shooting.
cool.
Yeah. I should have it on the op. Like even the op shot, I showed it on screen right now. You can just see it's like pixels next to each other. Like it's actually pixelated muzzle flare, which is just like such a cool little detail to the skins, which are already cool. And I think the sounds probably are pretty good in game as well. There's like if you like retro gaming,
Yeah.
this bundle's
Yeah.
for you. Only issue is the only thing which isn't retro is the price. Even though you could argue maybe it's retro because it's like I don't know collectible, but it's like it's just pixels. Holy shit, they're expensive. Like, what is the price? I think like over 100. It's like the highest price category.
Yeah, I think it's the most expensive skin we've ever had. I think it's like £120 for the whole bundle, um which is kind of crazy. I think
Wow.
yeah, the higher it gets, like right now, currently with how expensive like Vandal skins are and stuff, I think that's the most I'd probably justify spending on a skin. I think this will probably be something I only pick up, but I am a complete sucker for retro games, all that kind of stuff. So
Yes.
I don't know, maybe we'll have to see. Maybe if my next videos do well. No, I'm joking.
They gotta do really well. Nah, for real. We got a
But
Ghost
yeah, it's
Phantom.
insanely cool bundle. They picked some good guns for it as well.
Yeah,
Um,
Bulldog, knife,
yeah.
op. Yeah, I mean probably the actually guns you use, right? Which is an issue with some bundles where you'd be like, that's a sick bundle, then like RS, like come on.
Yeah,
Come
it's
on.
like just yeah, but this is really good bundle overall, but it is expensive, so you know, gonna have to save the wallet if you do want to get it.
Yes.
Okay, should we let's hop into the meat and potatoes of the
Oh
episode,
yeah.
the international leagues, and the one with the most games this week, not
Oh yeah.
completed yet. But this we're in the Super Week of the Americas League in VCT. So we're just going to talk a bit about each one, but first is Americas.
Oh yeah.
And the game that happened yesterday, as of recording this, I think it was yesterday night, was C9 versus NRG. This was kind of the bout of NA to see who that top NA team is.
Hell yeah.
It seems to have been decided.
It seems to be. Energy lost, surprisingly, I would argue, to Cloud9, which
Mm,
I think if we like just go back in time 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, or like even let's go like even a little bit further to the back, like when Yay get dropped essentially, and Vanity, and everyone was like, "This team is the bottom of the league. They won't win anything." EG will like outperform them. Of course, Cloud9 like just 10th, and Cloud9 apparently seems to be North America's last hope. They're the best performing North American team right now. They have looked good, honestly, in every match they played.
yeah,
It was a close series against Loud, if I remember correctly. And
yeah,
like, it was also like 7-13 on the Scent against Energy, 9-13 on Pearl, and then like 13-8 on Haven. Like, I don't know. I don't even know what to say. I'm just impressed, especially by the new pickups. And I think if we want to talk about a pickup, maybe Jake is like the first which comes to mind, who had a hell of a series against Energy. Like, what did you make out of this controller performance of his?
yeah. I mean, his first map, he was kind of Som was the one stepping up really on that controller role. He was the one that you were going, wow, okay, and he kind of won in that map towards the end. But
Ooh.
when you get into Pearl and Ascent, even though I know, yeah, of course, Cloud9 won the last two maps. On those maps that they won, Jake was just playing out of his mind, and especially on that Ascent. I mean, he single-handedly pretty much carried them over the line there.
Yeah.
1.7 rating. You rarely see that, even from a really good performance. So
Yes.
goes to show, not just in the kills, but the assists as well. 11 assists on Omen. This guy, he plays in it's not always a lurk style. It's not always a sight anchor style. If I'm thinking lurk control, I'm thinking Marved. If I'm thinking sight
Mm-hmm.
anchor, I'm thinking Mako or Som. But this
Yes.
guy, he just has really good positions, holds the off angles so well, takes risks when he needs to as well. I think that's really important.
Yes.
And he played incredibly well in this series. Took Cloud9 over the line, and that's the thing I think that people were doubting coming in is, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
okay, these three players leave Zephyr Zelsis. We know they're good, right? But what about these other guys? Are they really going to be able to step up? But I mean, they seem to have been able to playing against a team who's one of the most, if not the most experienced team on
Mm-hmm.
LAN,
Yeah, that's
and taking
ridiculous.
them out. Yeah.
I don't know, like if I'm gonna go on energy, like for me, like it's something we have talked about, like I think every week of the podcast. But like, just one thing to pick up again: Killjoy, 3 maps, 3 different players. I don't understand. Like, it's overcooking in my opinion. And I gotta say, like, at this point, it's gonna like it's starting to bite them, because Artis is a good jet, but I feel like he's not being utilized on the jet, because like he's the jet on one map, then he isn't the jet on one map, and especially with an entry fragger, I feel like it's important to understand the timing of the entry player. So I understand why Victor looks so good on the entry as well, because the team knows how he's playing, how he wants to be set up, and I feel like this is something which is missing with Artis currently. That he's like a bit not disconnected, I wouldn't say, but I think the synergy needs to be built up in order for him to shine, similar to what it has been with Ye. But then on the other hand, if he plays Killjoy on one map and then Wraith and then Jet and then he plays some other flex roles, even Sage, I don't know how many agents we have seen of Artis. I feel like it's really hard to build that synergy, this trust factor, this understanding, this general understanding of like, I know when Artis is doing that, he's about to go in, I'm gonna flash or whatever, like, or other way around. If FNS is setting up a stun or a flash here, I know I gotta go in or something like this. And I think like this entire switching and swapping and like juggling the roles between the players, which are all capable of doing so, kind of bites them, even though like the games are still competitive and they still showcase like a high level of Valorant. I still feel like it feels overcooked right now, because if we just compare it directly with like Leaf, he played Jet on 3 maps and he looked good. And on the side on Optic Energy, everyone except Crashies has played 3 different agents. I don't know.
Yeah. It is odd, I think. And it's difficult because you think of FPX as like a really flexible team back when, not the Chinese FPX, of course, the EMEA FPX, when Ardis was back on them. And he was like, you think of them as a flexible team, but now he comes in and doesn't look good on Rays, to be honest. His jet, of course, still looks good, but is it, the star player that we saw him on the chamber before and on the jet? We've seen him play, really well on that role before. And Killjoy, it looks okay, but
Yeah.
you're seeing Crashies play it really well, and even Victor play it well. Like,
And even
these
FNS.
guys,
Like,
yeah,
it's not like, I don't see it. Like, you have 3 players who picked it up and looked good on it. Why you put a 4th on it?
yeah. I don't know. And this is the thing, right? We've seen the one player who does have consistent roles is Som, and he looks really good.
That's true.
And then, well, FNS, I guess, is playing, that initiator, but even he's flexed over to the Killjoy. Victor and Crashies are used to playing in this system where they have to switch roles. And it's almost like in the chamber meta, this team, I think, would have just been goated, but it's not the chamber meta anymore.
It's not.
Artists, either they force him on Jet every map, but do they want to do that? Probably not. Or, I don't know, they figured something out because,
But,
yeah.
like for me, what I don't understand is like, I understand the pick of Race on Pearl. I like this pick personally as well. But then other teams, not just some teams, a lot of teams implemented the Jet into that typical Pearl comp, which is like, it's like basically it's the comp they play, like Sky, Viper, Harbor, Killjoy, Jet instead of the Race. It works as well. He could just very like much play Jet on that map, which is definitely his preferred agent in comparison to Race. I don't see a reason why they wouldn't put Artis on Jet on a map where she works, right? If it's Lotus, I would argue, okay, I understand why they try to force him on the Race, but then you see like other players like Leaf just played 3 times Jet, or Aspas. He's a goated Race, but even on Fracture, where you could argue it's a decent Race map, he just rocks it like the Jet. He rocks it on every map he plays. He just don't care. He just plays the Jet. It feels like in this meta, it's really important to have like the duelist to be comfortable, it feels like, in my opinion. And that's what Aspas is like, Loud is doing with Aspas. This is what Leaf is doing. And it's less about like overcooking and like having the perfect mindset, like the perfect like strat in the head. It's more about like execute the things which work and do that good. Just like,
Yeah.
I don't know, keep it simple in a way. And that's basically what it feels for me if I see energy. It just feels like a bit, not too forced, but I don't know, just a bit too much. I feel like if they turn it down a little bit, I feel like they would win this match and other matches, because it's like, yeah, just a little bit too much.
Yeah. And like on that last map,
Mm-hmm.
they it's like they're going between. So Victor is on the Jet, right? But why is Victor on the Jet? Like, I really like Victor on the Jet, but if you're gonna take Ardis, he's on Jet on Haven, and then he's not on Jet on Ascent. He's on Killjoy. Like they literally switched agents between Haven and Ascent. Like you don't
Mm-hmm.
see that really happen at all, especially between Jet and Killjoy. Like those are very different playstyles
Yeah.
that you have to kind of adjust to. Um, and yeah, like you said, we've seen Leaf and Aspas, when they're comfortable, these guys can just frag out. But
Yes.
you can't always stay comfortable if you're having to switch roles like this. And it is concerning. NRG now, what are they 1-3 in the league? They play, who they play? Crew
They are
next.
1-3, and they play. And actually have a tough schedule. They play Crew. Okay, this is a must-win basically. If they lose that, it's kind of over. Then 100
Yeah,
Thieves, Furia, Loud, EG. Out of those matches, I can see them winning 3 of them, like Crew, 100 Thieves, EG. Those are possible, but Furia, Loud.
yeah,
In the current form, I don't see them win Loud. In Furia, if
yeah.
they gonna step up, like if they're gonna show what they showed the first couple of weeks, gonna be a rough game in the current state. I mean,
Mm.
in theory, they have the class. If they find the flow, if they just play the Valorant we know they can play, they can beat all 5 of them. But currently, it looks just a bit rough. I mean, Crew is a good game to get back on track. But on the other
Yeah.
hand, it's not called Super Week, it's called differently in the Americas League. But they're going to play Crew actually tomorrow. And then 3 days from that, they play 100 Thieves. They had a very
Wow.
tough schedule. I think they play like 3 games in 7 days, if I'm correct.
Damn, that is crazy. Yeah, because they play one
Yesterday?
game yesterday and one game today. So,
Tomorrow, yeah,
one
tomorrow.
game. Yeah, tomorrow. Sorry. So it's
And then in 5
yeah.
days, the next one. So essentially 3 games in a week.
Wow. So
Oh.
that's pretty
Yeah, but
hardcore.
like just to go quickly back on the roles, like I would understand, like what would love to see from Energy is like on Jet maps where you can play Jet, artists on Jet, put him on Jet, and on maps where Jet isn't the preferred agent, put Victor on the Race, on the Neon, on the Phoenix. Victor is
Yeah.
goated on those agent. And then on
Mm.
those maps, put artists on like the KO or put it, because he's good on KO as well. Put him on the Killjoy if needed or something, but don't force like this. Yeah, as you said, like Haven and Ascent, and then like you switch the roles between the. I don't know. It feels a bit overcooked, but are you confident they can
Mm.
pull it back? You think they have a chance to make it to playoffs? Because right now, sitting at a 1-3, at the 1-3 season.
I think. Well, this is the thing. If they beat Crew 100 Thieves and EG, they'll have 4 wins, which will most likely qualify them to playoffs. If they lose to one of those teams, well, then I don't see them making it. If they lose the Crew in a shock upset, or they lose to 100 Thieves in an upset, then
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be really hard. And it will be odd not seeing them at the first international event,
Yeah,
assuming that they don't make it. But
the
I'd
fact
like to see them do well.
like seeing them at Tokyo is the one thing, but we might not even see them in playoffs, and this is like
Yeah,
insane. Like
true.
the second, or like consistently one of the top 3 teams throughout the entire like last 2 years, not making it to the regional playoffs. And I think honestly, without saying like other teams are worse than them, it's more to them fumbling the bag than the other teams being absolutely insane.
Yeah, yeah. It
I feel
makes
like.
you it makes you think like not only did Ye and Marv play incredibly well and fit incredibly well in this team, um, I I I think a lot of people would have said, "Oh, Victor's probably, the weak link on this
Yeah.
NRG team." And now people are saying he's the best player on their team, along with Crashies. Like, it's funny how that changes, isn't it?
Yeah, it
Um,
is.
yeah, and we know the potential this team has, but whether they can turn around, we'll have to see.
We'll have to see. But
Yeah.
someone who played good was Celsius. But there was another thing he was being in the spotlight for. It wasn't for his performance, which was once again pretty good. He was the second best player for Cloud9, 1.2 rating, good performance on Killjoy and Harbor. But then he did something. While the camera was filming him on the main broadcast, I'm not sure if we can like. He did sexual gestures, I would say.
Yeah.
And he got fined. And apparently this fine is hefty. Right? Fined him to, there's numbers flying around the internet, something between 10,000 to 30,000, maybe less, maybe like not more than 30,000, but everything from 3,000 to 30,000 seems in the range of what he's been fined for. Which is crazy, but also some sort of appropriate to see a professional athlete on stage doing the gesture he did.
Yeah,
I
it
think
is a bit crazy.
Yeah, the fine is totally. I think no one is against the fine, but would you say like
Just the amount.
Yeah, the amount, like 10,000. What do you think about that? If that's the amount, that's at least what he put on the stream, right? On the
Yeah, I think so. If it's 10K, I think that's a bit too much. But I think, I get it. He probably should be fined.
Yeah, it should be. There's some things where you can say like it's a slip up, like the middle finger, the Shopify, the incident, right? It's a slip up. You can like, okay, that was dumb. But this one was like, oh my god, like, oh, you can't defend it. I feel like you can't defend it.
Yeah, you can't really. It's very on brand for him, isn't it?
It's super on brand. I mean, he does it on stream regularly. Like, it sounds so wrong, but it's true. Man, he's doing all sorts of shit on stream. It's crazy. To be fair, it's kind of surprising that that's the first fine, isn't it? I think it's the first fine he got on stage.
Yeah, somehow. That was very funny.
Oh my god. I mean, another thing, like, because I think like we talked about a lot about like energy underperforming, but I think we haven't really spoken about like it's like we have just touched it briefly. Like Cloud9 looks amazing with the new 2 editions, and there was this one tweet I just want to show it quickly from Cloud9 CEO Jack, where he basically said or claimed that in the past 5 months, the scrim results with Ye and Vanity on the team were not as good as they were hoping for. And with the new team, this looks improved, which is now also showcased in the results, which is a topic we will, probably talk about later as well, because we're going to talk about Ye. But it's interesting to see, right, that those 2 players who I wouldn't say no one heard of him before, but for me, actually, I have never heard of him before. And they just joined a team and they look so good. And I think for me, it's like basically MCE Masterclass.
Honestly. It definitely is. And also, it makes you wonder how good Cloud9 could have been with a different IGL for the past 2 years. If we're seeing how good these players are now, Leaf, Zeppa, a lot of people said Zeta was really good when they had him. Like those 3 players, and Mitch was actually pretty good at one point.
Definitely.
Like, and then I don't know who else you'd have, but right now they have Rooney. It could have been anyone, but it makes you wonder: could they have been a top NA team? Could they have been a top team in general? Like, because this team looks like it could be, and they have not had much practice in comparison. So yeah, I don't know whether the whole scrim thing, whether that was Yay, whether that was Vanity, whether that was a combination, whether that was just the whole team vibe thing. I don't know. But it seems like it's worked out for the best. I mean, obviously, I still feel for Ye in terms of the loss of his job being so sudden. But yeah, it's worked out well for Cloud9.
Yes,
so.
I'm a bit sad to say so, but yeah, Cloud9 apparently did a. I mean, it's we're in the middle of the season; they can still fuck it up, but right now it looks good. Right now it looks like they did a good job.
They still got time.
They still got time to fuck it up, but yeah.
They've still got time to have a commend documentary made about them.
Yeah. Oh my god. True.
All right. Let's move on to the second game of Americas we're going to talk about today. And that is the Sentinels matches. We can't stop watching them. Sentinels, there's always something going on over there. And today, well, not today, but this week it was their matches against Loud and MIBR, both games in the Super Week against Brazilian teams. Marved returned in place for Tens because of his, lots of things going on with Tens. But Marved is back, and boy, was he back.
Oh my god. We talked about that before. I cannot believe it, because this guy was out till last year champions. And it's not like he was like not even practicing, because he basically didn't join a team. He decided to take off the off season. That's basically everyone knew it. Like he didn't want to play the
Mm.
offseason, then he might or might not join a team for the franchise league, and he didn't do that as well. So he has not played at Red Bull Homeground, for example. He was not at Lock In. He has not seen a scrim for probably like 5-6 months or something. And then he shows up, also like pretty last noticed, right? Because like
Yep.
he could have known like maybe a week ago. So maybe he has like 4 days of scrim in his veins. But he doesn't care. He just is an MVP.
He is just
What
the
a
ice man.
performance.
He's too cold.
His first game was against Loud, right? Like,
Yeah.
and he played. He
went from playing Loud to playing Loud. His last game was
Yeah.
against Loud. His first game was against Loud. Like,
Oh my god,
just-
true. Wow. And he was
and he
like
still
second.
put up a great performance.
Yeah, second best player on Sentinels. Who, by the way, just played with a new head coach, with new roles, because everyone was swapping back and forth to make Marv feel comfortable in playing the controller role, because Pankada obviously is the main controller for the team, but then he switched to the Sentinel role, and Sassi to the Initiator role, and Zach into the Jet role, and it's just mad to see that this team is capable of slotting in a sixth man, a substitute, switch the roles, and still go that close versus the current world champion Loud.
Yeah, and not only that game, but also against MIBR. I mean, they just smoked them. They just kind of smoked them.
Yes.
MIBR don't exactly look good right now, especially since that 0-2 loss to Leviathan, where they got like, what was it, 5 rounds in total? Or... Oh no, 7 rounds in total. But still, good showing from Sentinels, who could have been caught out by MIBR, but they just weren't. Just clean 2-0. Man, this guy looks so good.
I just see his stats. 144 rating. Just being MVP on the second day. Right, that's crazy. Like, it's also like super weak, right? They play like 3 matches or 2 matches in a week. Like, it's just ridiculous. This guy, he also said like he's back, like, right? He's meant to stay or something. Like, didn't he like kind of hint towards like this is not just a one-time thing?
Yeah, I know. Well, I imagine he's staying in America and not going back to Canada straight away. I don't know whether they'll keep tens on the roster. I know a lot of people are saying that would be best for him or best for best for the team, but we don't know what's going on over there realistically. They have looked good with Marv in, and Marv looks great. But I don't think that's not our decision to make.
Oh no.
And I think they'll still continue to improve. Obviously, with Tens is back, and they'll figure out all the roles and stuff.
Also, one thing, I think a lot of people are jumping on the bandwagon with like Marv. He must be the starter. They should not touch the roster. It looks amazing. But I want to like just remind people and like let them know like Sentinels look good with Tens against the other teams, and they played Lev and Energy as well. And it wasn't like they got just stomped. They could have 2-0'd Leviathan with Tens. I want people that they just don't forget these things, because even with Tens on the roster, I think Sentinels still look very, very good. They also look good with Psycho as the coach. I don't know, just because they now landed a big win and had a close series versus Loud. I think they tend to overreact sometimes, even though like rightfully so, because Marv did play amazing. That's just a fact. But I also think like Tens is getting too much critique for things which are not just on him, and considering all things considered.
Yeah, definitely. And I wonder whether he will decide like by himself to take a step back, just with everything that's going on in his life, or whether he'll go, no, I want to play. I want to kind of do this for the team. But yeah, that's it really. I mean, Marv looks great. Sentinels look good with him. I think one of the main reasons they look better as well is that Sassy's back on Initiator.
Yeah, more than actually the Tens thing or Marv thing. I think like Sassy looks insane on the Initiator, and this is like where he shined on Loud as well. And even before, I think on Vikings, and like I think he like I don't know. I think he was always like a great Initiator.
Yeah, I think it makes sense, Pancada on Sentinel. I like that because he plays around sites well. He always did it while he was playing Smokes, but Sassy on Smokes, it didn't exactly look convincing. And obviously with time that would have changed, but his Initiator play, I mean, this guy was top Initiator in the world, arguably, or one of the top at least, at the end of last year when they won Champions. So yeah, I think it's really good to see him setting people up and just looking really good at that role still.
Yeah.
And I hope maybe we'll see him we'll see him stay on that. Whether that means Def goes on to Smokes, or if Tens does come back, or whether we see this roster keep playing, I don't know. But yeah, I think Sassy on Initiator is good.
I agree. Any other teams from the Americas League we want to touch on?
Don't think so. Loud look good still.
I mean, there's not much to say. They're just goated. They're 4-0 in the league.
Yeah.
What else is there to say? They're gonna make it to playoffs. They're just gonna book one more win. Then they are
W
100%
Loud.
locked. Yeah.
Is that how it works? So if you get 5 wins, then you're
Yes.
locked.
I actually
Right,
asked
so-
ChatGPT exactly like, what are the like? How many wins do you need in a single round robin, whatever, like nine matches group stage? And he's like, with 5, you're 100% secured. With 4, however, it is like possible, and I think like 3 is even possible in a very odd scenario. If every team plays bad. But yeah, 5 is 100% lock. 4 is pretty secure, like 66% or something, and everything below
Right.
4 is like you need a lot of luck for that.
Yeah.
I have actually one team, but it's not even the team I want to touch on. Like just one person I want to give a shout out because he made a team which I absolutely, it just bores me. It's EG, but I gotta touch on Demon One.
Yeah.
Because this guy, he made a team which is boring AF, some sort of interesting to watch because he's absolutely cracked. I haven't heard of him before. Like I knew he was a ranked demon, but damn man, he looked good on officials. And I just want to give the shout out to him because he's also flexing the roles, like also between Jad and Brim and other stuff. And I think he had a very good showing. And because I just wanted to let it get it out of my chest because I'm just hating on EG all the weeks, and now there's something to cheer about, which is Demon One, I feel like. And even though it's crazy that BCJ, the player I rated probably the highest out of all the EG player, is the guy who was benched in favor for Demon One, or other way around. But apparently Demon One
Yeah,
good
it makes you
player.
wonder how good EG could have been if they had kept BCJ. Maybe even put BCJ on Initiator, but it's weird because this team doesn't really have a Smokes player now.
Yeah, that's weird. Like,
which is odd.
I think like, wouldn't it make sense to play BCJ, Demon One, Ethan, and then like play the roles out, kind of? Like, I feel like BCJ. I mean, maybe there's
Yeah.
something going on other than that. I don't know. Like, it's just speculation. I don't want to throw speculations in there, but it feels like maybe it's not a decision which is based on the performance on the server itself. Maybe it's a calm issue. Maybe it's a mood issue, mindset issue. I don't know. It could be so many things, right? You can be talented, but if your comms are not syncing with the others, or your mood is differently, your vibe is different, like maybe it's this type of thing as well. Like, I mean, this is speculation, so I don't know. But
there's so much we don't know, isn't there,
there
about
is.
a team that, who knows why certain changes are made and things like that. But
the main takeaway is Americas has a lot of talented players. Demon One, Jake, Rooney.
it's just whether they can harness them in a way
Yes.
that, gets them top finishes like Loud have done.
Yes.
And we'll have to see. I'm very excited about Loud going into Tokyo, by the way. Just thought I'd add that. They look great. And I love Aspas. Good Aspas. All right.
Nothing to
I
add.
think America's is all good. Next up, we know it. We love it. Sometimes. It's EMEA.
It's EMEA. Hell yeah.
EMEA, and I think the main thing in EMEA that happened this week was Carmine Core. There was a lot of drama after their loss to Vitality last week. Newsera decided to step down from the team.
Yes.
We don't know exactly why yet, but you can imagine what may have happened. And
it was his decision to step down, right?
Yes, I think that's what they said. I think that is what they said. It wasn't a benching or anything like that.
Yeah. Also, like Screeb was referring to the situation where Link stepped down from Liquid, so it looks like Newsera decided to step down. The reasons for him stepping down or stepping back are unknown as of now.
Yeah.
But
I think,
that's
and then so Nuzera stepped down. Then they had to sub in their assistant coach, who's their official
Yeah.
sixth man, Zeist. I think that's how you say his name.
Mm-hmm.
Or Zeish. Sorry.
Zeish, yeah.
Yeah, no T on the end.
Yes.
And you might look at the stats and go, oh well, he underperformed. But as an IGL, because he was taking over the IGLing duties from Scream, which I
Yes.
think really freed Scream up to just do what he does best, which is tap heads.
And he just did.
Yeah, and they made it close.
Against Na'Vi, which is, even though Na'Vi is looking like, no, I wouldn't even say shaky, they just look weird at times, but they're still Na'Vi, right? It's still a great team, and Ascent was close. The Lotus, rough, like in terms of the second half. But the first half was also close, right? So, but especially the Ascent and just generally, Scream looked. You could definitely see that Scream could focus on his crosshair and that he's like feeling relieved, kind of, right? Like freed. It's like they took off the chains of Scream, and like now he can like go out again and one tap. He got an ace. A nice ace, by the way. On the race,
he did.
He had 242 ACS. He got more first deaths than first kills, but 45% headshot. Oh, he does. Scream does what Scream does. But yeah, I think overall, what I can take away from that is K Corp looked the best. Basically, they have looked this season. Maybe despite the first match they played against BBL. In this match, they looked some sort of good, and then they just looked horrendous the other games. But I don't know. I feel like this is the right direction. In IGL, helped the team a lot. I think a lot of their mid-rounding was way, way better. With Scream, the firepower is just so much higher that they look competitive, even in rounds which they should lose. With a Scream, like, who can just go for the headshots again and go for the multi-kills and just go for Scream things, it works. Maybe that's the factor which, like, helped Liquid getting, like, the LCQ runs and all this stuff, because there's always this one factor like Scream who can just do this random aces, one taps, and just wins a round, which they are not supposed to win at all, but it works. And they couldn't do that, not at all, while Scream was doing the IGL thing. And also, I feel like putting other players on the KO helps the team as well. Because I think like Zei's utility was actually pretty good, considering like he's assistant coach in IGL. I was very impressed by his first performance, and just generally, I'm happy that K Corp is not the laughing stock anymore.
Yeah, that's what I'm happy about, especially is that people aren't just tuning in to laugh. I mean, they kind of were, but at least there was some genuine support there. And people do want to see them do well, which I think is really good. Yeah, and like you said, against Na'Vi, this is not a team. This is not a team to be taken lightly. I think it will be interesting to see their next few games. Who they got next? Okay, Koi. Now we know that Koi have fallen off a bit. If Casey can win that game, then they're back in it. Not necessarily for playoffs, because it's kind of over at this point. We've still got Fnatic and Giants to play.
Okay, in theory, in theory. We had the like 50% of the season is played, so it's in theory possible. But yeah, Koi, Fnatic, Giants. Besides Koi, every team looked very good so far, and Koi has the potential to get back. I feel like Koi versus K Corp is kind of that game which will decide which roster is doomed or not. I don't know if that's like too bad of a thing to say, but if Koi loses that game, this roster is done. I don't see a future. Like, not even like I like the players, and I think they look great, especially like at lock-in and in the first games against Na'Vi. But then Koi fell flat every week after week after week, and for K Corp, it was a bit different. But this matchup, actually, I think there's so much on the line on that if you think about it.
I think that thing about like seeing which roster has, lost hope. I think that's really important, because Koi, both these teams started with a win and haven't won since. So I think this will kind of mentally boom them. But the problem is, Karmi Core win this. Do they win any other games? Even if they're playing well, they got Fnatic, Giants. I mean, if they push an RV close, they might be able to take it off Foot. Maybe. I don't see them beating Fnatic or Giants really at this point. We'll get onto them in a second, but yeah, not Scream, sorry. Karmi Core played well. Can they keep it up?
That's a good question. I think for me, I said it. I think we talked about it last week that current core was at a state where I thought like just change everything and just figure out how you want to approach the next month, rather than like
Mm,
trying to hold on to what isn't working for weeks now. And I think if they find their footing, they realize, okay, this is the way we want to approach the game going forward. I think they have a good chance to be a decent team for LCQ. And in LCQ, everything is possible. And I think that
yeah.
should be the target for K Corp. I mean, of course, if you're a competitor, you want to win every match. Go into every match and you want to win it. And if you make it to playoffs, it's amazing, great. More games to play, more experience to gain. But if you don't be sad. Just keep going, improve day for day, match by match. And I think this team, like, I still believe in the quality of the players, but they just need to figure out how to approach the game. And it looked like they figured something out. And like, let's hope it wasn't just a one-off thing because the teammate left and now we have this whatever buff it is. But yeah, look promising. I hope they can keep it up and don't fold their hands above their heads when they lose against Koi, if they lose.
When? Oh no. Um,
When or
yeah.
if not.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll have to see about Karmic Core. If they beat
Mhm.
Fnatic, I'm gonna have to make a follow-up video. That's all I'm saying.
Yes. I was wrong.
That
Oh,
would be incredible. That
that
would be
would be
incredible.
that would be just craziest storyline ever. I mean,
Yeah,
honestly,
just
Fnatic, they don't need to win, right? They can just throw it for the meme. Like that's just so good content. Like just oh my god,
how
no.
we lost against Valorant's worst team. 1 million views. Yeah.
No. Great. Yeah.
All right. I think we were talking about Giants before. We talked about Foot, Fnatic, Na'Vi, these top teams. But I think the discussion now, it's kind of cemented that Fnatic and Na'Vi are top.
Hmm.
Um, well, at least they're top of the standings at the moment as we're midway through the season for EMEA.
That's true.
Um, but who is that third best team? Now, of course, EMEA are going to have 4 teams going to Tokyo. So it's
True.
kind of the top 4, but that third best team, there's kind of 4 teams in the running right now, and they're Giants, Liquid, Foot, and Vitality. Who would you put at third at the moment?
At first.
Mm,
I mean, honestly, like the Wednesday game is Giants versus Liquid. So for me,
yeah.
current like if we could talk about current power rankings, Giants looks hotter right now than Liquid does. That's just a fact. Like even though I'm super biased, I gotta say Giants looks super hot right now, and Liquid has a bit things to prove. But I think this Wednesday game kind of will define for me who is the third best team in the region. Liquid beat third. Giants, on the other hand, just won the last 3 games. Currently, Giants looks like the third best team in the region. I feel like they look improved, and even in the loss against Fnatic and Na'Vi, it didn't look like they just get like punched in the face. They still looked like a very competitive team who just played 2 amazing teams a bit too early. If they would have played Fnatic or Na'Vi at the end of the season, I could have seen them win those, perhaps. So right now, I would say Giants is the third best team. Could change on
Mm,
Wednesday. We don't know. For me personally, though, Foot and Vitality are not in the for me are not contenders for right now for the top 3, based on the fact that like Foot looks good, but also showed vulnerability. I feel like, and Vitality, since they got big wins, but then I don't know what it is, but I can't really find the words to describe it. But all the hype I had for that team kind of faded away just based on the fact that they look too similar week in, week out. And they do the same things week in, week out, it feels like. And teams getting the hang of it, and teams catching up, and teams even like surpassing them. And that's why they get the wins. It's not like Vitality kind of stagnates for me in a way. And I'm a bit worried that they already hit their ceiling while other teams are just still developing and still finding their footing and how to play the game. And once those teams caught up and once those teams find their play style and whatever, that Vitality is just that we make it to playoffs teams, but we'll never qualify for a tournament. Maybe like similar to Guild in a way, if that makes sense.
yeah, I see that. And it's interesting because we think, oh, Vitality, they're up, 2-0 start. They look really good. They've beaten Liquid, they've beaten Koi. But thinking about, Liquid were still kind of rebuilding, trying to find their footing first week. Then they play Koi, who we know maybe have fallen off a bit. Then they lose to Foot. Okay, fine. Then they beat Karming Court. Okay. it's KC. Then they lose to BBL, and you're starting to think, was this team ever really as good as we thought originally?
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, people had very high expectations, especially because they played Leviathan pretty close at lock-in. But I don't know, and with their killer schedule for the next 3 games, Na'Vi, Fnatic, and then Giants.
Is that the Vitality schedule?
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
they could fall out of the playoffs.
What are they now? What's their record at the
They
moment?
are the
3 and
sixth,
1.
3-2. They are on the 6th place currently. I mean, Koi, BBL, they still they have a buffer of 2 losses, right? So they can lose against Fnatic and Na'Vi, but they are not allowed to lose any game after that.
Yeah.
And you got the psychological factor because if you lose those, you are 3-4 in the rankings. You are on the verge of dropping out of playoffs, and then there's your final game. So there's a lot of pressure going into those, I feel like.
Yeah.
That's
I think
interesting.
the thing will be if Koi and BBL and Heretics and KC can actually get any wins to
Yes.
catch up to them. But if they're playing against each other, then they will be able to. So, I mean, Koi are playing
Ooh.
against KC, BBL, Heretics. So if they beat all 3 of those teams, if they manage to kind of pick it back up, they'll have
Yeah.
4 wins. Vitality might have 4 as well. It might,
Yeah.
go to map differential or
Koi
whatever
has
it
the
might be.
potential.
So
Koi has the potential to do so. I think the other teams, I'm not sure. BBL is playing. I mean, PBL might as well. Who I don't know. What is about Heretics? Probably not. Yeah. Heretics actually is playing Vitality on the last day. So there is a world where this could decide who goes to playoffs. I think Vitality can still do it. They have the quality, definitely, they have showcased it.
yeah.
But for me, if we talk about stocks, I was so high on Vitality at the start of the split, and now I'm a bit it's a good team, but it's not crazy or something. And I don't see that much more room to improve in a way. I think they can improve their map pool and get better on those maps and play better on more maps, sure. But then I see Foot, Liquid, Giants, even Koi some at times where I feel like the ceiling of that team could be so high if they unleash the potential of the players. So yeah, for me the top 3 right now: Fnatic, Navi, Giants. And 4th place, because EMEA sends the 4th team to Tokyo. Hopefully Liquid. I'm believing. I'm
Let's go
believing.
Liquid.
Hell yeah. I mean, I'm
I too
biased.
am believing. I too am very
Let's
much believing in Liquid.
go. Let's
Yeah,
go. Yeah, we do believe. The,
I
the,
want to
the
see.
Wednesday match.
I want to see my boy Nats back on land, man.
Oh man, by the way, we haven't talked about the games, but Nats looked insane against Heretics on the Cypher. Oh my god, that gave me some Gambit flashbacks when he was dominating the Fracture, right? Fracture is his domain. No access
Yeah,
to side. That was actually crazy. That was, yeah. Some sick
and
clips there.
Heretics pushed them very close. They
Yes.
look good. They look good. They've definitely improved. So we'll have to
Yes.
see if that can continue
Mm-hmm.
as we move forward into uh the rest of the league.
Yes.
Speaking of leagues, there is another one that we haven't talked about yet, and that
Yes.
is Pacific. Um, some very interesting games this week. We had some, I think, since we've last recorded, we had some regional derbies. We had some, Korean matchups, some the Japanese matchup,
Mm-hmm.
and then we've had lots of different things going on there. And the first one was today. Talon played against Zeta, and I think you're gonna pull up a stat here if I'm
Yeah, I'm
right.
gonna do it right here. Boop.
Um, about
Oh.
Talon. It's not looking good, is it?
No. They're the worst team in the region. They were the worst team in this region before this match day, and their stats looked horrendous. They've been the 10th place in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In 5 stats, and in 2 they weren't, but in the ones they weren't, they were in 9th place, which doesn't really matter. And then they were the 3rd best team in rounds played, which isn't necessarily a good statistic, because you want to close out the matches as fast as possible. Talon looked all over the place, and wait, what is playing here in the background? Is that Bo? What is happening?
Here he is.
What on earth is happening?
I am sad.
Wait, why do I hear you twice? No, you are. We can hear you twice on your webcam.
There we go.
There we go. Nice. Man, I was trying
Hello.
to fix the mic because you had like this tractor noise coming in. I don't know what it was. What was that sound? Like, you gotta hear that. You gotta listen to the podcast. 50-minute mark. I don't know. You came in with a tractor or a car. I don't know.
Wait, what?
Trust me, it was crazy sound. I don't know.
Tractor.
Can you confirm command?
I didn't hear it, so
Really? Just me? Oh my god.
I think it was through the OBS Ninja. But
Yeah,
Anyway.
probably true.
how are you, Bo? How are you doing?
I'm in pain.
Okay, so same old. We're talking about
Same old.
Pacific.
Oh yay, Pacific! Whoa!
Hell yeah, you came for the best part. Picking the cherries. Yes.
And we're talking about talent right now and how they did look abysmal, and now
Mhm.
they managed to pick up a win.
Yes.
Yeah, that is certainly a surprise, but also not really, I guess.
I was surprised when I saw the score. I didn't manage to watch this game because it was a pretty awkward time for me in the day. But yeah, talent. I thought I would see a Zeta 2-0 or a Zeta 2-1 because they've been picking up steam recently, and honestly, they look like pretty esteemed to get to the playoffs here with a 3-1 record coming into this game. But Talon managed to take it in a close ascent as well.
Yeah.
There's something about Zeta that just seems slightly inconsistent. I don't know if they've really figured out their play style with this team yet. And Talon managed to capitalize on that.
Yeah, for me, honestly, like O2 versus Talon, and the issue with that is like I'm a bit worried for Zeta right now, even considering if they make it to playoffs. Because if we take a look at the league,
Now, who do they even go up against still?
yeah, that's the thing. They are
Oh,
sixth place.
it's
Yeah, they're sixth place
Shenji,
right now, and they play
T1,
Team Secret.
Paper Rex, Team Secret. Oh
Yes.
god, that is gonna be.
Those are 4 teams which are currently making it to playoffs, right? So
Yeah.
they pretty much played the bottom 4 teams and DRX and are now facing the 4 playoff contenders. So they need a win, at least one win out of those matches, if not even 2, to make it to the playoffs. Yeah, tough weeks ahead. I still believe in Zeta, but it will certainly be difficult with that loss, especially against a team like Talon, which just looked so all over the place. But maybe that's the reason why they lost, because hard to prep for a team which is just like playing random ass stuff every map. Yeah, Ascent was actually pretty close as well, but they got not stomped. But Talon was just better on Haven, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Same thing with Zeta.
We can't really say a lot about it because we're just acting like scoreboard Stevens at this point because the match was today.
Yeah, that's true.
But like, it isn't like surprising that Zeta is gonna start struggling now.
I
So
mean,
they had the momentum, but they aren't really like following the momentum, you could say.
I expected them to be able to carry that momentum through into this game, though.
Yeah.
With
that's
Talon
true.
being 0-4 as well, and just looking like just trolling against DRX, man. That, I mean, obviously they're out of that particular triple duelist phase, but
yeah,
I was not. I really wasn't expecting Talon to win this, especially 0-2. Well,
yeah, me neither.
2-0, I guess.
And also,
Um,
Sushi
yeah.
Boys was out.
Yeah.
With Jit Boys and Garnets being put in. So
Finally.
that's an
Jit Boys,
interesting.
man. Finally, he's back. Oh, this guy's cracked.
It's so
I
difficult
think
to
Garnets also did.
Yeah, I like
recently
Garnets.
Yeah.
Garnets was doing so well at lock-in, and it's actually interesting that they switched so many things at Talon, but they didn't go back to this lock-in comp and lock-in roster kind of way. Like, they could just play the lock-in stuff, but they just refuse to do so. Is there I don't know, do we know, is there a reason to it? Is like, do they want to start Patipan, or like, why are they not trying that which works?
I guess it's kind of just the fact that like Patapan, he has like the success, and like he switched over to Overwatch and started dominating that. So they expected that he can automatically go into the team and dominate on the team too. But he kind of did, but then the team environment suddenly it seems like the team environment just changed.
Yeah,
Mhm.
there's something you can't like. Even though he's super good, if it doesn't fit, or if the team's gotten really used to playing with those players, with scrims coming into lock-in and stuff, and they've been feeling really good, and then suddenly they've got to
Yeah.
be like, oh, okay, just change it.
Yeah.
And with him playing so many different roles, it doesn't seem like, well, it didn't seem that it was super planned. It seemed like he'd just come in and gone, oh, okay,
Yeah.
you got to play with Pat now, because he's Pat, isn't he? Not Patty Pan
Yeah,
anymore.
it's so confusing.
Yeah.
Apparently,
I'll
that
keep
is
calling him Patapan.
apparently that is because in Thailand, Patapan is like a really, really common name.
Oh.
So he wanted to change it. But
At this point,
I
where he
really
had made a
like,
name for himself. Yeah.
yeah, I really like Patapan.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad Talon have picked up a win, but
Yeah.
we'll have to see if they can keep that up. Who have they got next? Paper X, Gen G,
Yeah.
and then
Nah, they're
RRQ
out.
and
Like,
DFM in the last
You guys
week.
already spoke about like detonation.
no,
No, not
we
yet.
just started
Okay,
with
thank God.
Pacific.
Okay. Okay, good.
Like honestly,
I got some thoughts.
Ooh, You can drop them in a sec.
Oh
But
no.
Talon playing Paper X Gen G, ROQ, which look improved, and Detonation, which we're gonna talk about in a sec. But with that schedule, and they need 4 wins to lock it, and 3 more wins to at least have a chance.
Minus 40 round differential as
Yeah,
well. So
like
really, they've got to win all of their remaining games, and I don't see it happening.
I think it's not
So-
even enough to be just a believer. You need to I don't know. You need
copium.
a lot of copium.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure. There's a copium shortage for Talon fans, so I don't think there's. I don't know. It's just.
They better
And,
be huffing and puffing.
Yeah, I don't think there's any copium left for DFM fans.
But wait, is it
Oh.
a round differential or is it head to head?
That's a good question. On VLR, it's
Yeah.
map differential,
Because
and then
because for
after map
challengers, for challengers, it's head to head first, and then round differential
Right.
as a second option.
That will exist somewhere, that rule.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah,
where,
but I think
it
it's only if you're tied with someone, right? So they got to get the wins, and then they got to be tied with someone, and then they need to have a better head-to-head, but then they lost to like the bottom teams. So if they win against Gen G or DRX, they will not be on a tiebreaker with those teams. With Gen G, or like it just doesn't matter if they win against Gen G because the tiebreaker won't be with them. So
basically, they actually need to tie with State of Division.
Yep.
Yes.
Or RRQ and beat RRQ.
Yeah, that's true.
Because
that's
they lost
possible.
to Secret, didn't they?
That's possible, but then still tough schedule ahead.
Yeah. And Bo, you were speaking of tough schedules ahead. Detonation. They played T1, DRX, Global Esports, and Talon. So they still have DRX to play, and they are 0-5. They've won 1 map in the league so far.
Against Gen G.
There's people on Twitter saying that their A executes on Ascent are terrible. I don't know about that. But I do know
I'm shocked.
that it's not looking good.
The only map Detonation won was Fracture against Gen G, which is the GOAT on Fracture? Wait.
34 as well.
What?
I think Suggest was just going a bit crazy that day.
Nah.
It's not
I cannot believe that. Okay,
good.
sorry, but this is just like out of all maps against all teams, they beat Gen G on Fracture. That's just mad.
Also, just one thing. Currently, DFM are the lowest ranked team in Japan on VLR.
That is
not saying
good.
that the VLR ranking is anything.
Oh yeah, definitely. The
accurate
VLR
to go
ranking
off.
is,
but that
I mean,
the single lowest ranked team.
Yo, okay. You want to hear a crazy? I just checked it. Like the match history of this team. If you go all the way back to the 28th of May, 2022, that was their last win. Detonation's last win was versus Fennel in an open qualifier in May 22.
Oh,
That's a year. That is a year of losses. Okay, there were not that many games because the roster changed, but then since the One Pro Invitational, where they already had the players they have right now, which is also half a year ago, just losses.
Not only that, but they've won 2 maps.
Oh my!
That's not even like you don't even have the small victories at that point. Yeah, they don't look good.
It's
Okay.
not looking good, bruv. That's for sure.
So, Bo, you said you had some
Um,
thoughts. What are the issues?
Well, I gotta be honest. This match against Team Secret actually looked okay. There were
Yeah.
there were glimpses. There were good glimpses against Team Secret. And the biggest problem that I had with this entire match was literally just like Detonation is not utilizing Seal Dome at all.
Mm-hmm.
They are giving him zero support, and they are at times just like they kind of forget to use their utility out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a very strange, like it's those rounds that they lose, which is just like they aren't doing jack shit. And just the fact that that they aren't setting up Seal Dom at all, even though he gets like 3 kills or a shorty or something like that. Like it's just when people talk about the team, they keep shitting on Seal Dom, but Seal Dom isn't the problem in this.
Yeah.
Seal Dom is just not being supported well enough.
But he had a good
And
series.
also,
Oh yeah,
when
he had a
they-
good series.
when they've played well,
Mhm.
it's been because like Suggest or Seoldam has popped off. But it does. The reason they're not consistent.
I saw a big improvement when Rada wasn't in this match against Team Secret.
But the reason that people are consistent, especially in league play, is when they're set up well. Like when we talk about, the best duelists in Valorant, Aspas isn't just going in every round by himself. Like,
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
the reason he can drop these numbers consistently is because incredible team play from Loud.
Yeah.
So and that's why they haven't been able to
Yeah.
consistently, even through maps, they can't consistently have like strings of rounds where they look really good because they just, you can't keep up an individual performance just based on that individual. In Valorant, you just can't do it. So, yeah, they need to maybe, like you said, it's good against Team Secret, but they're out of the running. I mean, they're not going to make it to playoffs. They still have DRX to play, and they're 0-5. It's unfortunate. It would be nice to see them pick up in a bit of form, but
07.
05. Yeah.
they probably will go 0-7. To be fair.
Fuck, I didn't think about that.
Oh, that's crazy. Oh, you gotta prepare the memes. Prepare the memes. Wait, what are the next 2 matchups? The next fixtures?
It's gonna be
T1 and DRX.
against T1 and
DRX.
and
Yeah. Okay.
DRX.
It's how I'm gonna prepare the memes.
Seal them,
Oh.
save them, seal them.
I mean, would it matter?
Detonation might be the only team I will allow getting a win against T1. just to end the suffering that I am on right now.
Honestly, I would like. Okay, first of all, I want them to win a map because
I want
having
Seal them to be happy. That's all.
Yeah.
I'm all for a DFM win against DRX. I'm all for it.
That gives me K-Corp Fnatic vibes. We're back at it again. Like, it's literally the same thing. No, I wouldn't say the same thing, but I think improvements. I think it's a good decision to put Seldom back into the roster. It seems like he's getting a chance. He looked good. He deserved a chance. Build the synergy, set him up correctly, and go forward with this because it looked promising. It wasn't like a complete stomp. At least it looked like something. On the other hand, though, Team Secret won, but Team Secret gives me Vitality vibes. Bo, you haven't been here at the start of the podcast. What I want to say by that is like they both started off super hot. Both Team Secret and Vitality looked very good at the start of the split. But then I don't see that much of progressions. Other teams are picking up and are slowly overtaking them. Secret is now sitting at the 5th place. And yeah, they won against Detonation. But was it that convincingly? I don't know. Could have been. I don't know. I think Team
It's
Secret,
difficult, isn't it? Because if when a team plays against a team that is not as good as them and they do all right, and they win, but it's not necessarily like a stomp, then you go, can you really judge that team negatively off that? Can you not? Kind of thing. It's difficult, isn't it? If
Definitely.
Loud play a close game against I don't know, a team that they're expected to beat? Are you like putting Loud lower, even though they won, kind of thing, is difficult. But that thing
Yeah.
about a team, falling off throughout the season, Team Secret is interesting because in their first few games, everybody was thinking, okay, Talon, they look good at locking, they'd probably take it. But Team
Yes.
Secret beat them. Team Secret upset PaperX as well, which was, I'd say, an upset, even though PaperX kind of crumbling at that point. They lose to Genji, and then they lose to RRQ, and that was the one where I went, okay.
Yeah.
RRQ did look really good, but
That's true.
yeah, they just seem to have no answers really for them.
Yeah.
And it makes you think, are they, like you said, that progression, is it really coming through? So
Yeah,
we'll
I
have to
see that
see.
one like play style. They have to like definitely Secret has a like a game plan and like a play style. And if it works, and they're very solid. But I feel like if they are like presented with like things they haven't practiced, it feels like they are not that adaptable on the fly. This is something I feel like they have to work on going forward, especially for playoffs. I still have them like going to playoffs, and I still think they have the potential to make a run. But I'm a bit worried of their progression. That's like the only thing. I still think it's a great
Yeah.
team. But yeah, they
I,
have to progress.
I almost wait the later matches in the group stage more than the
Yeah.
earlier matches because, especially for the teams going to playoffs, because you've got that. There's a ghost flying.
What? Are you in
You've
Pacific
got
now?
that momentum.
It must have been the wind.
Close to window.
Yeah, that momentum is really important going into a playoff bracket. So yeah, and speaking of momentum, they never stop. They will never stop. DRX. They are 5-0. They managed to win the Korean derby that some people thought could go Genji's way, and it was fairly close. But DRX last map kind of just stomped their dominance.
But at the bright side, Genji did get a map.
Yeah,
Yes.
finally.
Fracture.
Which shows that like they can bleed.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. And I saw a lot of promising things from Genji.
Definitely.
Even though I feel like on Pearl, Genji like they were, I wouldn't say lost, but like Pearl, they definitely weren't like kind of showing up. But Haven 13-7 doesn't look as like the scoreline doesn't show how good Genji looked. I feel like a lot of times Genji overcooked a little bit. I think they went back like 0-4 or 0-5 in the beginning because Genji tried to like do this fast retakes and always fight for the sides. And then people just went in one by one and like solo and do like solo bolo stuff, and it just snowballed into like a very bad like 0-5 start or something, 0-4, with like the credits and everything in shambles. So obviously they're gonna lose that map. But when they like fixed that, I think there was a timeout, and afterwards they looked way better, and they got 7 rounds. And I feel like if they wouldn't have like started off that badly, it could have been a way closer map. They won the fracture. Let's just like ignore the Pearl for a moment. I think Genji still looks promising, but definitely they are not on the level of a DRX yet, which is expected because DRX is playing for such a long time together. They just slotted in one more player, Foxy9, which is also a demon. So yeah, I don't know. There's not much to say to DRX except that they're just a great team.
Yeah. And to put this into perspective, I mean, it's good that DRX are being challenged, I think. I mean, in Korean challenges, this is only good for the entire Pacific region, the fact that they're all playing together. I mean, Korean challenges, DRX won 21 maps in a row in the most recent Korean challenges in 2022. They just won every map. Every map they played, they just won. So seeing that there are teams who can take maps off them, Talon at lock-in as well, let's not forget that. Even though they've kind of fallen off now, but it's showing that the level of play overall is rising. I mean, they could have got 2-0'd by Global Esports. They could have. I'm not saying they would have, but it was possible. So I think it's promising for Pacific overall that DRX can bleed, but they'll still go to Tokyo.
Yeah,
probably
definitely.
flawlessly.
100%.
So, but
I'll
I hope
start
Genji
throwing
make it
hands
as
if
well.
they don't.
Yeah, I hope Genji make it as well.
Imagine if it's gonna be like the whole what's it called? The whole Vision Striker situation again. Like DRX are absolutely like pounding the scene and everything. Then there's like playoffs where it all matters, and it's just like out of nowhere they just lost.
But to defense, Newturn had a very nice run at Reykjavik, so it wasn't like this team qualifies in playoffs. It's like the one-off team which just bumps out in group stage. There wasn't a group stage, but they still had a good run. So the team who actually managed to beat them was a good team at this point. So
Very true.
True that.
But I would hate it like if some
RRQ
team
wins
like
massive Tokyo.
like 6th place on the playoffs, they
truth.
get to Tokyo and then like just get farmed. That would be
No.
We want to see DRX. I booked them in. I slot them in already as a favorite for Tokyo.
Yeah.
I'm going that far.
Sounds about right.
I can't see a world just also like what you said, comment, like it is so good for the region, like that it's a competitive region. And I also feel like there's so many different playstyles in Pacific. You have like this crazy madness, Talion, Paper X, we push it and we farm you like with double duelist. And then you have like Gen G who aren't like that. I feel like Gen G is very disciplined, like play I don't know, mythological kind of Valorant. And then you have like teams who are like in between those things. I feel like this is also a great thing because you're not playing the same thing over and over again, because I feel like Pacific, APAC, looking back, was always a region which was like known for this like crazy aggression W key playstyle. And now you have more variety, which is good for the viewers, for the spectators to watch the games, but also good for the players who are tested on different levels against different approaches of the game. Because I feel like playing the same thing over and over again, then you go international and suddenly everyone plays different Valorant, can be a hurdle. And I feel like Pacific is in a very good spot in that term.
Yeah.
And the thing that we've been kind of doing for each league as we go through, Bo, is who is the third best team? Because in EMEA, there's clearly Fnatic and Na'Vi kind of at the top at the moment, and then there's the 4 teams in playoff contention. And in Pacific, it's kind of similar. Obviously, RRQ on that 2 and 3 record, but we have 4 teams on 3 and 2. I'd say DRX and Gen G are pretty much the best teams in Pacific. I mean, Gen G Paper X will be an interesting matchup, but who do we think is going to clinch that spot to Tokyo? And who do you think is the third best team in Pacific right now?
That's difficult.
Let me cook.
Oh.
I mean, he came in late. He's allowed to cook at this point.
Yeah.
Okay.
True.
You can cook so much.
There might be a timeline where like the 3 teams that go to Masters Tokyo are the 3 Korean teams.
That's not even that much cooking. Well, wait, who's the third Korean team?
T1.
Yeah, T1, of course.
That's copium.
I mean,
2 out of 3
seeing some
are kind of low.
Look, all I'm gonna say is T1 have beaten Global Esports, Talon, and RRQ, all of whom are not in the playoff positions currently. They have lost 0-2 to Paper X and Gen G. In fact, when I say lost 0-2 to Paper X, got absolutely rolled by Paper X and by Gen G. That's what I'm gonna say. But
I mean,
they could do
understandable.
I respect the timeline though. I could see that.
Yeah, would be.
You got to remember, teams, they can make miracle runs even though it doesn't make any sense. So that's Valorant for you.
Nice.
Carpe needs playoffs. Carpe needs playoffs. Like, he's right now not in the comfort zone. He needs the pressure.
Carpe needs that bonus.
Yeah, he needs the playoff lower bracket bonus. He's like activated, boom, and then they're gonna do it. Like, I could see that. If I look at the standings, honestly, at this point, I gotta say, for me, the third best team is Paper X, who is currently standing at the 3rd place. It's kind of a boring answer because, they picked up something and something just go kill. But he does form crazy clips, to be fair. But I feel like even though it's still messy what they do, they sub in Cigars and sub out Benkai and I think Davai, something I've never thought would happen. Like, what on earth? Then they lose the match. Then they sub them out and get Benkai in and Davai back in, and they win the maps and win the match. And I think like behind all of that chaos they have with their comms and whatever they are sorting out behind the scenes, when they show up for games, they show up. Like when they show up for a map, they show up for a map. They prove that they can slay opponents. And I'm kind of like still convinced that Paper X at one point will find their flow again and will be more consistent and just be that third team. I'm not seeing them in the second or first.
I think if they stick with the roster of Something, Jing, Forsaken, Divai, and one of Benkai or Mind Freak, I think they will qualify to Tokyo. Mind
Even though I
Freak's
think
looks.
you think like Mind Freak, I think Mind Freak is like the rock solid. Like I think like he is he must.
I think he very much was, but
Mhm.
I've seen a lot of Paper X fans saying that they don't rate him as highly, and he hasn't been playing as well. Um, which which could be true. But also if you sub him out, who's going to play Smokes? It's all of those situations. So I don't know. We'll have to see, but it's
Yeah,
really good to see that something is able to come in and farm here as well. You
it's
know,
actually crazy, right? He just comes
yeah,
in and like farms in the franchise league as he did in like tier 2 Japan. It was tier 2 Japan, right? I
Yep.
mean, there's like
yeah.
that's just crazy, isn't it? Like, oh, I'm also like, how are you anti-stratting it? Like, this guy, I've seen like 6 clips of him, and it's like all of them are like, you can't counter that. It's just madness. He's just dashing in and he one taps you, and like he gets like free kills. Like just holds down mouse 1 with the jet knife, gets free Ks. I don't understand. I don't understand. It's just mad. By the way, I like the role swap from Forsaken, even though they're overkicking it for me right now. He played Sova, Sky, and Killjoy.
Yeah. I'd say they probably should just put him like on Sentinel if
Yeah.
something has to play duelist, because that's also what they kind of did on DRX, where
Mm-hmm.
Buzz he had like a
Yep.
period where he was on Sentinel because RB was testing out the duelist and all of that. So there's definitely,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's probably best to keep him on one extra role instead of 2. Um,
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that might be a big problem for them.
Yeah.
I
Gives
think
me artist
the thing
vibes.
that does it for me is like the top. So you've got Paper X who are on kind of an upward trajectory at the moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you have T1, Secret, and Zeta
Yeah.
who are kind of on a downward trajectory. So I think, like I was talking about with the momentum heading into playoffs, that could really benefit Paper X. But equally, I would love to see Zeta Division do really well. And if they made Tokyo, I think it would be pretty hype.
Yeah,
So
they
I'll be
can still
rooting for
make it.
them. If they do make it into playoffs, I'll be rooting for them, I think.
Wait, did
Mm.
Zeta lose against RQ?
No, they narrowly beat them.
Yeah.
No, Zeta didn't play RQ yet. Oh, they did. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if it comes down to a head-to-head, which is right now a likely scenario, they would have the head-to-head over RQ. And currently a better map differential. So Zeta, even with a 4-win victory, like 4 wins, they could still book a
Yeah.
ticket to playoffs. So okay,
But
that's
the only thing is they have Secret, Paper X, T1, Genji. So
Yeah.
in my books, they need to beat Secret or T1, or both. Well, obviously,
yes.
would obviously be ideal. Or beating everyone would be ideal for them, I guess.
Yeah,
But
that Zeta versus
you know,
Secret match really is the one decider. Like it's kind of for both teams. Like whoever loses that, they are on a very like thin
yeah.
line of making it. Like
Wait, I just
missing out on playoffs.
realized America's is today.
Yeah, it's on
Why
right
is
now
America's on a Monday?
No, it's
because it's
like
Super Week.
yeah, it's Super Week.
Oh, it's Super Week. Okay, that explains a lot because Leviathan and One of the Thieves are now 10-10.
They are. They are.
Oh boy, 100 Thieves is back. Let's go.
Wait, which
Also,
map
wants
pick? No, it's Icebox. They still play Omen, Cryo Omen on Icebox, man. No, I'm so.
Asuna
sorry.
wants to go to Tokyo. He will do whatever it takes.
Those.
Unfortunately,
comps.
they are losing this match, but
Yeah.
yeah.
You're gonna
I
jinx it,
can't
dude.
believe, man, they play Omen. No duelist. Oh, no, it's I hate this comp so much.
I mean, it kind of seems it is low key working for them.
I feel like
that's
the
Okay,
fact
Cryo.
that wait,
Okay, I
are you
gotta
ahead or
stop
behind
reacting.
me?
yes.
Oh,
I don't
you're
think they're a
ahead.
map like no.
Guys, we have a podcast going on right
Yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah, very
We
true,
aren't
very
watch
true.
party.
You're the guy watching it. I'm not watching.
Sorry,
the game.
I just opened it out of nowhere and I just like saw that Cryo stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So top 3, like just to sum it up. So our top 3, like I went with DRX, Genji, Paper X for Pacific. Bo put in T1 instead of Paper X. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Command. Did you go with
I'll go
Paper X?
Zeta.
You go to Zeta? I like that.
Nice, nice.
Nice. All right,
Okay.
let's see who's gonna make it. RQ gonna make it? Just gonna make our predictions go.
Wait.
like just for the sake of messing with our predictions.
EJ's my king. EJ's my goat.
By
That
the
would
way,
be
RQ
something.
progression. They showed progression.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
That's
mean
okay.
Fair play
that's
to 'em.
not surprising, seeing as they have Ewok, and Ewok is probably one of the most underrated coaches there are right now in the entirety of Valorant. So he'll definitely cook stuff up.
International coaches in different regions kind of like seem to be a good thing. Like Warbirds, Ewok, just generally, I feel like it's always like a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Yeah, and Elmer put it on Gen G as well.
true.
Yeah. So I think, yeah, that kind of NA and EMEA style of playing the game, when you transfer that to the skill of the Pacific teams, it can create a nice dynamic, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. I think that's everything for the franchise leagues today. We're going to touch very quickly on challenges, and the first main thing that happened, I'd say, which had definitely the most viewers, was
Oh,
disguised debut with Yay and Nerve, their two new pickups. And they might be adding a third. But before we talk about that, their debut, it was underwhelming, we might say, especially from their main man, Yay. They played Oxygen. Oxygen looked great, in my opinion.
mm-hmm.
They looked
Yeah.
really, really good, especially with an emergency. Well, I don't know if it was emergency, but especially with a sub who's their assistant
Emergency.
coach. Was emergency.
No, I don't
Oh,
think
okay.
it was.
Mm-hmm.
But a sub anyway.
Yeah.
They looked really good, and he had the default Vandal on, so you know he
Yeah.
must have picked up the game
I
2
mean,
weeks ago. No, I'm
like
joking.
it would have been weird for Bonkart to decide that like Randy Savage isn't gonna play if and instead it's gotta be Rustin. I'm kind of confused by the whole roster change by Oxygen, but if it works, it works, I guess.
I think it might have been like said at the start of the challenges thing. It's like, okay, we've got a really hot prodigy on our hands with Redux. Like, we want to put him in as soon as he's ready. So,
Mm-hmm.
Randy, you're going to be with us until that kind of starts split 2, and then
Yeah.
we'll see. But I don't know whether it's predetermined or not. But
Yeah, but like Randy is probably one of the best upcoming Sentinel players. So I'm just kind of like, there's a bunch of like potential you could have done with Randy, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean that's Oxygen's decision.
Yeah,
So
but
and
they won
yeah,
regardless
they do one
against. Yeah,
an underwhelming DSG.
yes, and like
yeah,
I don't know. I
Ironically,
mean,
their best player was Nerve, probably their other new pickup. And they did bring it close on the second map.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, Yay, especially on map 1, was just not really hitting the shots that we are used to seeing him hit.
Oh yeah, actually a
Yeah.
really rough first map. Like holy.
Yeah, obviously, new team, very little practice, but 7 and 16 is not a scoreline we're used to seeing out of him.
Yep.
Even on Optic's worst days, usually he was kind of still finding that value.
Yeah.
So whether he can pick that up, I'm sure he will be able to. I mean, we know how good he is. But it's interesting, isn't it, seeing him down here scrapping it out in the tier 2, and kind of,
Yeah.
still clinging on, really.
Definitely not the best sign.
It's not the
Yeah.
best sign. We were touching on it briefly, like when we talked about Sentinels in the Americas League and Marv. On the other hand, like where we could argue, like, okay, Yay is a new team, new environment. Maybe he's not being set up and utilized as good as he was on Optic. Surely he isn't. But then on the other hand, Marv just gets subbed in very short notice and put out an MVP performance. Sure, a controller player is a different role than a duelist. A duelist, like if he's not supported well by the team, he will go in and just die.
I guess it's more like just Yay needing time to get used to like a different team environment.
Similar to Cloud9, perhaps, because also on Cloud9 he never, which is true because he never got the chance to like unfold his true potential, I feel like. But at C9 he wasn't not living up to the expectation, but he couldn't like find the same like synergy he had with Optic. And I feel like Yay needs the time. He's definitely a player who needs time to like understand the team's environment, how they approach things. Like that's definitely, yeah, I agree with you there. Both.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll have to see if these guys can pick that up, and especially considering they've got a new IGL, because
Das nerf. Let's
well,
go.
no, they haven't got a new IGL. They've got an ex IGL now, because they have benched Steel.
Is he benched now? Is he for real? Like, is he benched?
Well, Toast was on
We've-
Tarek's stream asking him if
Yeah.
he knew any tier 2 IGLs in the scene,
But
and
to
Tarek was
me,
stuck.
yeah. To me, it kind of
Whoa.
feels like it's. I'm not sure if like they are saying this that seriously, but I've heard some stuff. So it might actually be legit. But it might also be troll because DSG like to make some very funny jokes and all of that.
With the April Fools.
But then again, like I wouldn't be surprised seeing as Steel he is very demanding of his teammates, and seeing as his own performance isn't really that like positive mechanically and just in the game itself and all of that. He's a great IGL, but he just cannot shoot at times, unfortunately.
Mind you, we have Angel in the EMEA, so who
I
knows?
mean,
No, I'm joking. To be fair, Angel's been in the
Angel is
labs.
fragging, bro. He just like hits shots nowadays.
Angel is the only one I'm letting play Yoru in EMEA. except Otem. Okay, I forgot about Otem. That guy also deserves to play Yoru whenever he wants.
I'm not familiar, to be fair, but
Otem, he used to play for the Rix roster.
right.
Rix GG. That's like way back, bro.
Yeah.
That is very much way back. And in terms of NA challenges, I think the only other match that really the favourites didn't take it in was All Esports versus G2, where G2, despite looking great in the mid-season invitational at the end of the last split,
Pancake stiff.
lost to OR I can't say it. OR Esports or All Esports. I don't know how you say it.
Minecraft or sports.
Yeah.
Or
They
sports.
they took the
Or
dub.
sports.
Honestly,
took
when
it,
they
yeah.
won that first map, they lost split 13-4, and Oxy was just frying. I was like, yeah, it's kind of GG, isn't it? G2 just going to take this. But no, they came back in a huge way. Won Lotus with the same scoreline right back,
That's crazy.
with Gecko as well. G2 really just didn't look like they had much of an answer at all.
Yep.
What do we think went wrong?
My guess, G2 are just chilling right now.
Why would they?
I mean, looking at like the match itself, it kind of just seems like they had a very slow start.
Yeah, they had.
And then it kind of like Split is always like something to always remember about Split. Like Shazam and Dapper, they were the one who invented like Split meta back in the day on Sentinels, so they'll always win that. But it's just like I think it's just like trying to warm up again after taking a break between the splits. I'm not scared about G2 like getting worse. I'm more just scared of like this is just a little bit of a sign of that G2 is not going to win Ascension, I guess.
Yeah,
you could say.
I think that's a fair argument to be made.
They'll still be. I'm still going to say that they'll be like top 4. But to win Ascension, I'm not sure.
And we kind of saw it with M80 as well. In this first game, they had a close match against Turtle Troop, 13-10, 13-11, down 9-3 on that second map.
Weeded was on a revenge. I don't know.
Well.
Weeded was suddenly like, bro, we needed this back when he was on NRG, dude. This is keep going, Weeded. Keep going, all right, please.
Yeah, it was a great performance out of him.
Yeah.
But yeah, they didn't manage to take it. MAT did manage to take it, but it's that thing about warming up, right? Coming into the split. Of course, my boys at the guard completely demolished the FaZe clan. But anyway, we don't need to talk about that.
Dicey laughs.
Yeah.
I just love that clip of just
It's
like
so
Dicey
nice.
just being like a happy little child.
Oh, that was so funny. That was actually a goated clip, honestly. But I mean, nothing else to say.
The
to add
happy
to
Victorian child
FaZe.
giggling away.
Yeah, FaZe just look, they don't look good.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
I feel like I'm on the same train as you, like with saying like G2 is like a top 4 team, but it's a bit worrying like in terms of like could they win Ascension with that? Because for me still the guard MAT, like just the fact that MAT wins that like won that match or like that map being down 9-3 and like still coming back, and that shows exactly what you need in order to win a tournament like this. And maybe it's the first day of the second split, so maybe G2 wasn't like, okay, it's like do or die, whatever. But I still feel like that M80 shows some sort of like, how you say it, like not confidence, but like just I'm missing the word, but definitely you see like a different type of attitude, how they like see the games, and like they want to win it despite no matter what. And that's what I was missing from G2 that day. Maybe it was an off day, a little bit of an off day as well, but I'm not worried for them as of now, because there's like Mad Lions and like FaZe Clan who look definitely worse.
Yeah. I think the one that I'm most disappointed in is just Mad Lions. It's just
they did not look good.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I
mean, I'm still gonna say like Bjor is still one of the best Sentinels that you can get in NA, and I seriously hope that he will find some success on this team, because everybody knows this guy can like be one of the best Sentinels you could get right now. But the team was just lost in the sauce. It did not seem like they had anything planned.
And Moist, good win for them.
Yeah, Moist look good.
I mean, 13-5, 13-2.
Yeah,
that's a statement.
I was still surprised about the fact that Odorous is just there as a coach. So, but good shit.
But it
I
seems
guess.
to be working.
Yeah, do be working.
Huge dubs for them.
Yeah, true.
Plus 500k.
Yeah. Also, big you might even add like you guys saw the French match, the new M8 roster.
Yes.
Wait, what?
It's SPG has like renamed to M8s, or Gentlemates as they're called.
Gentlemates, yeah.
And I fucking love their branding and everything. It's just so crazy chaotic. And their match last week got over 100k viewers.
Oh, wow.
Really?
For like the watch party.
Oh, but it's Gotaga, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, go.
Exactly.
So
damn, we need these creator orgs are going to be the basis of these challenger leagues, surely,
definitely.
Right? Yeah, if only we had any of those.
Look, if I have to,
in Los Polaros.
No, I'm joking. I'll sign a Polaris team. Sliggy should sign a Polaris team.
A little bit. I mean, like that's difficult when you're signed to an organization on a partner in partnership.
Look,
so
I'll do it.
Yeah,
do it. It's fine.
Coalesce. They're gonna become Commend team. No,
just Command team. Imagine the name, bro. Command team.
Commend team.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah.
But if you're like, I don't know if you want to go on this like Gentlemates thing, M8. Actually, cool that Existence is back in a way. Like I saw his tweet. He had like health issues and pretty much didn't talk about it for like I think the last 2 years, and now he's coaching that team, M8. Existence, a Belgian player, formerly known from CS. He wanted to become a CS coach. He said in that tweet longer. I read it and like I think it's a great step for him to be a coach, and I hope they can find some success. Also, like this M8 team, like with I can show it actually on the screen. Like Taka.
Maybe Existence can save Carmen Corp next year.
Yeah, maybe. Even though I'm not sure it's a coaching problem. Wasn't Existence even like in like rumored to be an IGL for like certain teams.
There are rumors, sure, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah,
So-
I think like also like Nathan or Nathan, I don't know, like he was a former Vitality player who made the grand final of the Challengers last year,
Yeah.
the Ascension tournament, and then didn't get a shot at franchising, some sort of surprisingly, and now is like back on the redemption arc perhaps. Yeah, a lot of good French talent on that roster. I wouldn't be surprised if we see any of those, including the coach, in franchising in the future.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I don't think there's anything else. There's of course my internal crying about Hookars losing to Apex and
Wait,
getting.
there were only 2 maps played, Icebox and Haven, right?
No, actually,
Lotus.
actually,
What was
we're
it?
playing best of ones now. So
Yeah. You won.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, I
Yeah, we
remember.
let's go.
Yeah.
I'm proud of the boys for getting a map. That's development at least in the
No, it
team
was also
itself.
good. I
But
think that's great.
And Apex,
But
Apex
then-
are just too good, man.
Apex
Yeah,
are good.
the
Apex are
Lotus.
good.
We do not speak about the Lotus.
Which Lotus?
I mean,
Oh yeah, true. I mean, Lotus
Yeah,
doesn't
well,
exist.
I only know
Lotus
Breeze.
isn't
was
in the
a-
map pool at all.
You won after Icebox, I thought. I switched off.
Plus
You jinxed
67,
it.
plus
Stop the
67
count.
round differential
I actually jinxed
after
it.
4 games.
I actually jinxed it.
Plus
Yeah.
67. Man, Apex are just different.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
improving. Progression.
I can't wait to see Apex vs Fnatic in EMEA
I can't wait
franchising.
for Apex to be out of Polaris so I can build a decent team that can qualify for Ascension.
No, it's also good, man, to play teams like that frequently, right?
Yeah,
It's good
true,
practice. It's
definitely.
good practice. It's good for the region.
Yeah.
Good for the just viewership.
I mean,
in general.
no, it's not good for the viewership if you're
Why?
getting farmed. If you're getting farmed, dude.
What, you're saying Calming Core wasn't good for the EMEA viewership?
Yeah, bro. EMEA was thriving. Literally.
It's the same effect with like Fortnite, where basically like all of that drama, it was like it got so many impressions on Twitter, on social media, and everything like
Yeah.
that. But it also
generated viewers.
but it also just strayed away like sponsorships and all of that because it was too
Oh.
petty and like stuff was too easy and all of that, and that's what I'm kind of scared of.
But
Like,
wait,
if
Nah,
Apex
it'll be
keep
fine.
flirting
Polaris,
going,
yeah, but Polaris, like last split, it was competitive. Like it wasn't like
it was
Hmm.
competitive.
yeah. Okay, this time around, okay, Apex.
This split is actually less competitive. If
But
only
also, does
we
the split
had.
matter? It's like all. Isn't there like a playoffs after?
I mean, yeah, group stages you have, of
Yeah.
course, to.
So
But yeah, like Apex already have like a bunch of points.
Yeah.
So it has to be like Apex have to get fourth, Focus have to get third, and not even Buffons can get second.
Okay,
For
see.
Hookars to qualify for Ascension.
I mean,
Right.
that can happen though. I think like it's not the shame, and I feel like
Yeah.
sponsorship wise, I don't know. We'll see if
It is
Apex
what it is.
can win.
My
And there's
my focus for this year for this play is just to make sure that all my players are like being able to develop well enough so they can get on other teams for next year. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like seeing your team play. Actually, Hookars, like I don't know.
we do not talk about the Haven.
Which Haven? Wait, I said you played Icebox, and then it was the
Oh, yeah,
it
yeah, of
was
course, of course,
I
of course,
don't
yeah, yeah.
understand. Oh my god. Leviathan won
Alright.
the first map, by the way. GG, well played.
All good.
And I
So,
think
all right.
Yeah. With that being said,
Yeah, I'm going to
with
bed.
tangents
I'm done.
with tangents completely gone down and rabbit holes filled, that will be the
Oh,
end. of
also,
today's-
also
hang
a
on, no,
little
it
bit
won't.
of drama. Wait, I might actually add this drama. Apparently, Claudia was dropped from Guild X like a week before Game Changes Series 1.
Oh.
Which is a weird move, to be honest. That is a big question mark. And then they get in Karina. Karina is a decent pickup, but it's kind of like that seems very sudden.
Okay. Interesting.
And especially seeing as Claudia had like an amazing performance in the past.
Hmm.
So
Interesting.
that was a
Mm.
bit weird, and they
Super
lost
weird.
pretty badly, I believe.
Oh yeah, the Game Changers is starting right now as well, right? I saw G2.
They're
got a
still
win
playing,
today.
right? Yeah, they're
Yeah.
still playing.
But yeah, not too much to talk
Yeah,
about.
they're
As of
playing
now,
overtime against GK.
they're
So
playing right now. Started
yeah.
the
Alright.
Series 1. EMEA.
We'll
Well,
have
yeah,
to see how
we
that
could
turns
talk
out.
about game changes next week. So
Yes, the
Yeah.
that's an
second group
interesting
is
talking point.
second group is playing right now. The first group played their first matches, and then next week we're going to talk about it. The game
Yeah.
changers after the first week came to an end.
Yep.
Yeah, great.
All right.
All
Cool.
right.
All right.
I'm going to bed.
Thank you very much for watching, everybody. And we will see you in a week's time.
Yep.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.
Okay. Bye.